If your Audi has OEM air suspension, then you've already paid for height control. Audi just doesn't let you use it. On today's video, I'm going to be installing a module that's going to allow you to raise and lower your car on command. No new air suspension, no coding headaches, just a 5-minute install and your cell phone and you're done. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Cameron and this is Audi C7 owners, and on today's video we are installing the Pinnatec Auto Virtual Link. Some of you guys might have seen this, especially if you are in the 4OT community or any Audi community with OEM air suspension, but these guys have come out of the scene really fast here recently because they have this super affordable module that is a 5-minute install on a C7 that allows you to control your ride height via your drive select mode. So that would be, comfort, dynamic, individual, things like that. You can even enable a few extra ones if you have VCDS or OBD11, but this is going to be a really simple install. And then after that, you're just going to go to the link provided by Pinnatec to set up the ride heights. And we're going to show you all of that. So first things first, we're going to spin the camera around. We're going to go look at the contents of the box for, whenever it shows up at your house, you know what you got, and then we'll show you how to open up the car and get this put in. All right, we've got the box that it shipped to me in. Obviously, I've already opened it, but here's what it came with. You've got a sticker. You're actually probably getting a couple stickers. I've already got one put up somewhere. You've got a nice little intro card here that's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. You scan this QR code and it should take you to an install guide for your specific vehicle. And then you're going to have the contents of the kit. Now this is C7 specific, so your C7, S7, S6, RS6, RS7. This comes with a wiring harness and it comes with the actual module itself. Now this was wrapped up all nice and protected for shipping. I've already taken it out though. But your car, depending on your generation model, might have something different, but it should all be pretty similar. But very simple kit. It's all plug and play. It's easily reversible. Shouldn't really do anything weird to your car. But we are going to go ahead and get to the S7, open it up, and we'll start putting this in. First things first, you need to disconnect the battery. We're going to be messing with some of your control modules and we don't want any electrical issues, so we're going to take a 10 mil and we're going to remove the negative off of the battery so we don't have to worry about that. All right, we're here in the back of the S7. Now your A6 might be different and it depends on when your generation might be slightly different, whether you're facelift or not, but overall should be about the same. This one has a couple little clips that the net clips into here and you're just going to swivel that up. Then these are like quarter turns and they pull out. We're going to do that on both sides. And then after this, you're going to find the lip and it just pulls out. Now don't go yanking it out like crazy because your 12-volt plug over here, you do have a wiring harness connector that you push in the tab and pull it out, and then you can move this out of the way. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do now that we have everything out of the way, and by the way, this bar, if on an A7 or S7, this might not be able to come out of the way. On the S6s, it should come out with the rest of it. But in any case, we have to find 3 connectors. We need to find the 9-pin connector, which is going to be this far left gray one over here, the 15-pin connector, which is this purple one here, and then the OEM air suspension module connector, which is this gray one with the purple lever. And for now, we're going to remove all 3 of those. Okay, so both of the 15-pin and the 9-pin connector, there's just little levers. You're going to push down and then pull it out. So there's the 9-pin, same thing on the 15-pin. All right, so the one thing to be aware of is this 15-pin connector. When you're taking it out, there's a wiring harness here, and that wiring harness is right in front of the connector, so it's not going to slide out very easily. So you're going to have to maneuver that harness out of the way a little bit. So we're going to work on that. We're just going to push it down and then slide it out here, but just wanted to point that out to you. So the OEM air suspension module, you got this gray module with the lever. You don't just pull up on the lever, you actually press in on the side. There are 2 gray little tabs you squeeze, and then you lift up on the lever. So I'm going to see if I can do that without blocking. Well, I'm going to block everything. Okay, so when you pull up that lever, it pulls that module all the way out, and then that's it. All right, let's talk about the wiring harness provided from Pinnatec. You need to find the male 15-pin, 9-pin connectors, as well as the gray module that looks just like the one that came off your OEM Air module. We're going to use those first. These are going to replace the ones you just removed. Once we get those in, we'll be plugging in the female versions into the OEM wiring harness. Okay, so we got this plugged in where the OEM harness went in. This purple connector back here, that OEM one, getting the Pinnatec module in there, or the harness in there, it's tight. It's definitely easily doable. It took me just a few seconds. Just take your time and make sure you don't mess up any of the OEM wires in there. So now we're going to take the OEM purple connector and the OEM gray one, the 9 and the 15 pin connector, and we're going to connect them to these ends. Once those are connected, this goes into the actual virtual link itself. And as far as wiring harness and stuff, you're done at that point. You just put everything back together. Feel free to secure everything the way you want to. And then after that, we'll talk about how to set the drive modes. All right, now that we've got it all connected to the OEM harness, we're going to connect the last bit to the actual virtual link. So something to note, this connector has a lever as well. You're going to push down on this tab, open the lever up, and then when you push it into the actual harness itself and press down, it'll start to close. Just make sure it's secure behind the tab. Secure this back here at your discretion, and then put everything back together the opposite way you took it apart. And now it's time to set your drive modes. We're about to connect to the virtual link for the first time and do the initial setup, but beforehand, there's a few warnings of things you cannot do. Number one, do not do any firmware or file system updates while the ignition's on. Do not do any Wi-Fi resetting while the ignition is on. Do not do any hard reset of the device itself while the ignition is on. And when new features come out, don't test any new features or anything like that while the car is in motion. Test all new features while you are parked to make sure they work correctly. So now that we have those warnings out of the way, I'm going to show you guys how to connect to the virtual link and do your initial setup. All right, we've got the virtual link installed. Everything's connected. We're good to go and connect to it. I'm going to go through some information, and it's a lot of information, but I hope you stick with me because this is really important to get this thing connected and do your initial baseline setup. You are provided with a QR code in the package that's going to come up with, or going to provide you with, not only the hardware instruction manual, but also the user manual for connecting and using the virtual link system. Right now, at the time of filming this, it's all based off of a web app, but there will be an actual application being released by Pinnatec Auto in the near future that you can download for Android and Apple phones. But until then, we're using this. First thing is first, you want the car off and you want it parked on level ground. You cannot have the ignition on during any of the Wi-Fi updates or system resets. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We've got the hardware installed. I've got my notes here. I'm going to be looking at them. And what we need is a device with Wi-Fi capability and browser capability. So you need a laptop, a tablet, or a phone that can do that. Once you have that and you're ready to go, you're going to, first of all, before you do anything connecting to Virtual Link, you're going to go to pinnatecauto.com/software-updates. When you go there, you're going to see that there's a firmware update and a file system update that you can download. Download both of those to your device because you're going to need them. Make sure you take a note of the revision of both of those updates because you're going to want to verify after you upload them that you have the correct revision once you're done. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to wake up the virtual link by pressing unlock. Anytime you lock or unlock it or even open the car door, it's going to wake up virtual link for 10 minutes. So once we do that, we're going to connect to the virtual link, and the connection for that, the system network ID is just virtual link, and the password is all lowercase one word, password 123. That will connect you to the virtual link, and once you're in there, you're going to go to a website on your browser, and it's http://10.10.10.1. From there on the home screen, we're going to hit settings, and we're going to go into the update section. You'll see two things you can update, the firmware and the file system. You update the firmware first. Now, before you update, a word of caution. As soon as you upload one of these updates, this is going to happen for both of them, your system will reboot, you'll lose the Wi-Fi connection, and it'll come up as if you don't have a connection to the internet on the web page. That's totally normal. That's what happens when you do these updates. So first one is you're going to update the firmware, reboot it, get back into the website and confirm that you've updated to the newest revision. It'll tell you on there. Then you're going to do the same thing for the file system. Reboot and connect and verify that now both of those have the newest revisions of the updates from the Pinnatec Auto website. Once you've got that complete, we're going to go ahead and do the initial calibration of your virtual link. This is setting your baseline that all your adjustments are going to operate off of. So first thing you're going to do is start your engine. And you want the engine actually running so that you don't wear out your battery, because you're going to be using your compressor on your system a good little bit here. But you're going to start the engine, and you're going to go into your drive select options and select comfort. So off of comfort, we're going to go in, and on the top left corner of your MMI, there's the raise button. You're going to hit that raise button. You're going to see the arrows go up, allow it to completely raise and stop. Once it's finished, you're going to hit the lower button. You'll see the arrows come down and it's going to lower the car, and you're going to wait for that to completely stop. Once it's all done, you're going to turn the engine off. And at this point, you're going to go into the app, you're going to go to the home page, and you're going to set the front and rear sliders that you see to 0. Now, after this, I want you to get out of the car, walk around, take a look at your baseline. This is the baseline drive mode in comfort. This is the safe profile that you should set, and make sure you like it. If you don't like it and you want it slightly adjusted, like let's say you want the rear just slightly raised, or you want the overall car a little bit lower or a little bit higher, you're going to go ahead and go back in there into the app, and you're going to go to calibration, and you're going to go and adjust the corners with the sliders. Negative means lower, positive numbers mean higher, and it's by millimeters. So do all that, figure out what you like, and then you're going to hit save. That is saving your baseline calibration. After that, we're going to get into creating drive profiles. So what you're going to do in the app, you're going to go to presets, and you're going to hit add new profile. And I think at this time you can add up to 60 profiles. But that doesn't mean you can add 60 things that you can adjust on the fly. You can have up to 60 profiles, but you have to assign those profiles to your drive modes, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into the app, you're going to go into presets, hit add new profile, and there's a set of recommended profiles. So you'll see the labels: baseline, daily, sport, show, or lift. So baseline would be your 0. That's what we just did with the calibration. That's a safe profile that you can drive from normal daily driving. You can also have daily, where it's a mild drop. So you're going to adjust that with the sliders for a mild drop, whatever you want. Then there's sport, that's more for aggressive driving in my eyes. And then you have either show, which would be super low, or lift, which is, as high as you want to have clearance. All of these are up to you. Whatever you want to do with these, play around. It's going to take you a little bit to play around, see what works for you, but this is at your discretion. Once you get all of those profiles set, you're going to go and hit after entering the offsets that you create, you're going to hit save. So now your profiles are saved. After you have your profile set, you're going to go ahead and assign those profiles to your drive mode. And the way we do that is we're going to go into presets, and we're going to go into mode mapping. After this, we're going to assign profiles to the different drive modes. So that's like dynamic. You have individual, which is one that you kind of custom create, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. You're going to have efficiency if you've unlocked it with OBD11 or VCDS. There's off-road on some vehicles that you can use. There is a race mode, but race mode I don't believe will work on any vehicles other than our S lines. So just keep that in mind if you have problems with that one. But you're going to take those drive profiles that you made and assign them to each one of those per what you want to have when you're driving your car and you want to adjust things on the fly. So once you've assigned to all those, you hit save. After that, you want to go back to the home screen and you want to enable mode detection. What's mode detection? Mode detection is the app telling the car on the MMI system that when you choose, like dynamic, for instance, and your dynamic setup is lower the car but raise the rear, or whatever you want it to be, when you hit that, the virtual link will automatically adjust the air suspension for what you saved it to. Because without mode detection, you would have to do everything through your phone and enable it. Because you can adjust everything on the car with the phone app without having to use the MMI buttons. So while you have those 60 profiles, you can use any one of those with your phone app. Enabling mode detection takes those profiles you assign to the drive select modes, and they'll adjust as you're driving the vehicle. That's the beauty of this product. The big thing here, guys, when you're testing either new profiles that you're assigned to drive modes, or as Pinnatec releases new features, like I know coming down the pipe, he's going to have a feature where when you flash your high beams 3 times in rapid succession, it'll completely air out the car. There'll be protections built in so you don't do it while you're driving or anything like that. But when you're testing new features or any new profiles you're assigning to your drive modes, do it while you're parked. Do it in a safe place so that you can get out and look at the car and make sure it's doing what you want it to do. If at any time you get a system fault code while you're driving, you need to pull over in a safe manner very quickly. Get the car slowed down and pull over and check everything out, make sure it's good. But other than that, one word of caution: if you're going from a higher setting to a real low setting, you might get a fault code because the air suspension is basically saying, whoa, this is beyond OEM parameters, and that's normal to see that. You shouldn't see it often, but it is normal to see that. If you do, just go back to that comfort mode, that baseline profile, and reset things, and the code should go away. I want to take a quick minute to talk about the drive mode, some things to be aware of. As we talked about earlier, race, if you enable race with VCDS or OBD11 on a non-RS car, it's a non-functional mode. It just looks cool on there, so I wouldn't even put that on there. I would add efficiency. What efficiency does is it causes your car to shift before getting into boost so that you're just obviously using a lot less gas. Generally, it's a slower driving style. But individual, this is an important one. Individual isn't going to work with the Virtual Link. It doesn't change drive modes. Basically what it's going to do is it's going to just revert to whatever the last drive mode was. So for example, if you're in dynamic and you have dynamic set pretty low for aggressive driving and you go to individual, individual will not change the ride height. It'll only change how the car drives based on what you set your individual settings to. So if you want to go from dynamic and you want to have the ride height of comfort, but you want to be in the individual setting for the other parts, you need to go from dynamic to comfort and then into individual. Additionally, dynamic is already lowered 20 millimeters per factory tuning, and the Virtual Link doesn't stop that from happening. So as of right now, filming this video, let's say you set efficiency to negative 30 millimeters, like lower it 30 millimeters. That's what you want. In dynamic, you're like, okay, I only want to be like down 10 millimeters from my comfort baseline setting. Dynamic, since it already lowers 20 and you hit negative 10 for 10 millimeters, it's going to add that negative 10 to the 20 that the OEM system already does. So you're going to end up at the exact same height as efficiency in this scenario. Hope that makes sense to you guys. I do know that Pinnatec is doing a calibration that basically gets rid of that, that thought process that you have to do. But for now, at the time of this video, something to consider. But once again, read your manual as you get these products. They'll be updated with all these updates as he releases them, and you guys will be good to go. Just read the manual fully when you get time. But yeah, that's it, guys. This is a super affordable product compared to the other modules out there when it comes to controlling your air ride. It works with drop boxes from TGK. So if you already have one of those, that's a standalone system. You can still use a remote to air it out when you want to. That's not going to change anything. If you have lowering links on your vehicle, this product kind of renders those useless. You don't really need those anymore. They're not going to inhibit this product. It's not going to change anything in terms of what you can control on the car. So if you've already got drop links on your vehicle, you could take those off and sell them to recoup some of the cost of getting this Virtual Link from Pinnatec Auto. Shout out to Pinnatec Auto. They sent this over for us to make this video, do the install, and film it for you guys so that we could show you what it's capable of. I think it's a super awesome product. It's a 5-minute install. It's completely reversible. There's really no drawbacks to this. It's really, really cool. Just take your time to understand the manual and how it operates. There's going to be new models coming out for B9s, for C8s, so look for those, and hopefully we'll have some more install videos and updates about Pinnatec Auto for you guys. Leave your comments and questions below. Let me know what you think about this, and there's a link to the product in the pinned comment and in the description. I will see you guys on the next DIY video.